Gloster Gladiator first flew in 1934 as a biplane fighter. It reached around 250 miles per hour, armed with 4 machine guns, and offered solid maneuverability for its era. Egypt received 2 squadrons in 1938. These aircraft saw limited action in the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Production for Egypt remained small. They marked the early defensive posture of the Royal Egyptian Air Force but were soon outclassed by faster monoplanes. Hawker Hurricane first flew in 1935 as a fighter. It achieved around 340 miles per hour with 8 machine guns and rugged handling. Egypt operated several during the late 1940s. Squadrons defended airspace in the 1948 conflict. Numbers stayed modest. The Hurricane provided reliable ground support but faced superior opposition in early regional clashes. Its service bridged pre-jet and jet eras. Supermarine Spitfire first flew in 1936 as a fighter. Top speed reached around 370 miles per hour for later marks, with 4 20mm cannons or machine guns and excellent agility. Egypt acquired Spitfires post-World War II, including Mk-22 variants. They equipped squadrons into the early 1950s. Limited combat use occurred in 1948. Production was British-built. The Spitfire represented the peak of piston engine performance for Egypt before the jet age arrived. Gloster Meteor first flew in 1943 as a jet fighter. It reached around 600 miles per hour, armed with 4 20mm cannons, and delivered stable high-speed handling. Egypt received its first modern jets in late 1949 with Meteor F.4 and F.8 variants, followed by night fighter versions. These operated from bases near the Suez Canal. They saw action in the 1956 Suez Crisis, engaging Israeli and Anglo-French forces. Dozens served before losses mounted. The Meteor introduced jet power to Egyptian skies and proved capable in ground attack despite numerical disadvantages. It paved the way for supersonic development. De Havilland Vampire first flew in 1943 as a jet fighter. Speed hit around 540 miles per hour with 4 20mm cannons and responsive twin-boom handling. Egypt acquired FB.5 and FB.52 variants shortly after the Meteor. Squadrons flew them in the early 1950s. They supported operations in the 1956 conflict. Production totals for Egypt reached over 100 across variants. The Vampire offered reliable subsonic performance and ground attack capability. Its legacy lay in training pilots for the faster jets that followed. Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-15 first flew in 1947 as a jet fighter. It achieved around 670 miles per hour or Mach 0.9, with 137mm and 223mm cannons plus rockets or bombs, and agile swept-wing handling. Egypt received dozens from Czechoslovakia and the Soviet Union starting in 1955. Squadrons operated them intensively during the 1956 Suez Crisis, claiming some aerial victories while conducting ground attacks in Sinai. Over 200 served across variants. Heavy losses occurred on the ground and in the air. The MiG-15 delivered Egypt's first taste of supersonic-era performance and shifted the Air Force toward Soviet equipment. It defined the transition to modern jet combat in the region. Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-17 first flew in 1950 as a fighter. Top speed reached around 710 miles per hour or Mach 1.0 in clean configuration, retaining cannons and adding improved maneuverability with afterburner variants. Egypt integrated MiG-17F and PF models in the mid-1950s alongside MiG-15s. They flew defensive and attack missions in 1956 and later conflicts. Hundreds entered service. The type excelled in low-level dogfights but proved vulnerable to faster Western jets. Production was Soviet-supplied. Its robust design extended frontline capability until newer supersonic types arrived. Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-19 first flew in 1953 as a supersonic fighter. It reached Mach 1.3, armed with cannons and early air-to-air missiles, with sharp handling at high speeds. Egypt acquired around 260 examples starting in 1958, including S and SF variants. This marked the Air Force's entry into sustained supersonic operations. Squadrons defended key airspace in the 1960s. The MiG-19 faced challenges in maintenance and radar limitations. It served as an interceptor before being supplemented. The type demonstrated Egypt's rapid modernization and prepared pilots for Mach 2 aircraft. Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-21 first flew in 1955 as a supersonic fighter. Speed exceeded Mach 2, with a 23mm cannon and missiles like the K-13, offering delta-wing agility but demanding pilot skill. Egypt began receiving MiG-21 F-13 and later MF, PFM variants in the early 1960s. Over 200 operated, forming the backbone of air defense. Squadrons engaged Israeli forces in the 1967 Six-Day War and 1973 Yom Kippur War, scoring some kills while suffering heavy attrition on the ground and in the air. Chinese Chengdu F-7 copies later supplemented numbers. The MiG-21 provided long service as interceptor and trainer. Its limitations against advanced Western avionics became evident, yet it shaped Egyptian air combat doctrine for 2 decades. Sukhoi Su-7 first flew in 1955 as a fighter-bomber. It achieved around Mach 1.6, carried bombs, rockets, and cannons, with rugged low-level handling. Egypt introduced the Su-7 BMK in the mid-1960s. Around 160 served in attack regiments. They conducted ground strikes during the War of Attrition and 1973 war, supporting Egyptian ground forces across the Suez Canal. Losses were significant due to strong Israeli defenses. The Su-7 delivered heavy ordnance reliably. Its legacy as a dedicated attack platform influenced later strike roles despite vulnerability to modern air defenses. Dassault Mirage 5 first flew in 1967 as an attack fighter. Speed reached around Mach 2.2, with cannons and up to 4,000 kilograms of ordnance on a delta wing, offering good range and payload. Egypt acquired Mirage 5 variants, including E2, SDE, and SDR models, in the 1970s after shifting toward French equipment. Over 70 remain in service or reserve today. Squadrons performed strike missions, later upgraded for multirole tasks. They operated alongside Soviet types during the transition period. The Mirage 5 provided proven ground attack capability with French reliability. It bridged Eastern and Western fleets and continues limited service in upgraded form. McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II first flew in 1958 as a fighter-bomber. It exceeded Mach 2.2, armed with missiles, bombs, and a 20mm cannon, with powerful twin-engine performance and all-weather capability. Egypt received around 35 to 38 F-4E variants in the late 1970s from U.S. stocks as relations improved. They served in strike and interception roles during the 1980s. The Phantom offered superior avionics and range over prior Soviet jets. High operating costs led to gradual retirement by the 2010s. Its arrival signaled Egypt's pivot to Western technology and enhanced multirole potential. Dassault Mirage 2000 first flew in 1978 as a multirole fighter. Speed reached Mach 2.2, with advanced radar, missiles, and cannons on a delta wing, delivering excellent agility and precision strike. Egypt acquired 15 EM and 3 BM trainers in the mid-1980s. The fleet operated in air defense and ground attack. Around 19 remain active. They integrated French systems effectively within a mixed inventory. The Mirage 2000 brought fly-by-wire technology and modern sensors. It strengthened Egypt's capabilities during a period of diversification and maintains a key role today. Lockheed Martin F-16 Fighting Falcon first flew in 1974 as a multirole fighter. It achieves around Mach 2, equipped with advanced radar, beyond visual range missiles, bombs, and a 20mm cannon, with outstanding maneuverability and pilot-friendly ergonomics. Egypt began receiving F-16A divided by B in 1982 under the Peace Vector program, later adding C, D Block 40-50 seconds variants. Over 200 serve across squadrons, forming the backbone of the fleet. They conduct air superiority, strike, and reconnaissance missions. Extensive upgrades keep them current. Production involved U.S. supply with Egyptian maintenance support. The F-16 transformed Egyptian air power with its versatility and reliability. It defines the modern era and remains central to national defense. Mikoyan MiG-29 first flew in 1977 as a multirole fighter. Speed exceeds Mach 2.25, with advanced radar, R-27 and A-73 missiles, a 30mm cannon, and supermaneuverable handling. Egypt acquired MiG-29 MM2 variants in the 2010s, with around 46 in service. Squadrons operate them for air defense and multirole tasks alongside Western types. The Fulcrum added modern Eastern capabilities to the fleet. It features thrust vectoring options in some exports and strong short-field performance. The MiG-29 enhances operational flexibility in a diverse inventory. Dassault Rafale first flew in 1986 as a multirole fighter. It reaches Mach 1.8+, armed with Meteor, Scalp, and Exocet missiles plus cannons, with sensor fusion, electronic warfare, and carrier capability in naval variants. Egypt received the first Rafale DMEM in 2015, now operating 24 with more on order or in delivery. Squadrons fly them in premier air superiority and strike roles. Local integration includes French training and support. The Rafale represents Egypt's most advanced platform, capable of network-centric operations. Its acquisition underscores strategic diversification and positions the Air Force among regional leaders.